As a content consumer, what is it that draws your attention to YouTube videos? Is the thumbnail flashy? Does it have some cool imagery? Maybe perhaps a catchy title? Well, whatever you see as a consumer, you should also focus on as a content creator. Because with over 2.3 billion users visiting every month, creators find themselves having to vie for attention. So if you're in the creator business on YouTube and are trying to find out how to pull in viewers and get more clicks, here are some highly useful tips on making sure that your thumbnail image is the best that it can be. Tip number 1 is know your audience. Know who you are trying to reach, because that will affect your thumbnail style. Are you a kids account? Well, you'll need to go for something more cartoony or colorful. Is your channel based in the culinary world? How about using a still close-up image from one of your recipe videos? Is your channel full of informational videos? Well, try something very straightforward. If you know the base group that your content is for, then you should be creating YouTube thumbnails that you know are in their area of interest. Tip number 2 is, well, use the correct size. I hate to break it to you, but in this case, size does matter. Of course, but creating your YouTube thumbnail at the correct size is crucial to how it will turn out on the platform. You should be using an aspect ratio of 16:9 for your thumbnail image and a 1280p/720p in order to fill and fit the space needed. This sizing will allow the thumbnail to look good in its actual thumbnail form, as well as when it's displayed on the video player and YouTube. This image should be in JPEG or PNG format, but YouTube favors PNG format. Tip number 3 is have a catchy title. Well, when you're creating your thumbnail, you can also include the title as part of the design. Your YouTube video needs a catchy, attention-grabbing title to compete with the massive amounts of videos on similar topics. You want your title to tell people what your video is about, but you cannot let it be boring. For example, which sounds better? Everything about dog grooming, or Dog Grooming 101, everything you need to know to keep your pup pretty. Tip number 4 is show your face. Science has shown that the human brain is designed to naturally focus on faces. This means that if you show your face in a YouTube thumbnail image, for instance, viewers are more likely to stop on your video while they're scrolling. But if you choose to use a face, pick something that displays emotion. This is something we humans are naturally drawn to. Tip number 5 is the rule of thirds. So with this rule of thirds, imagine that your YouTube thumbnail is split up into 9 parts by lines. Your goal is to take up approximately 2/3 of the thumbnail space with the topic of your video. You should also make sure that the important info falls onto one of these spots where your imaginary lines intersect in order to make the image more dynamic. Tip number 6 is find your brand image. So one of the big things you want to do is make your videos recognizable by their thumbnail. Keeping the design of your YouTube thumbnails consistent across all videos will naturally help to create that familiarity with your viewers. Some examples of this are constant fonts, colors, and imagery. You can even come up with a brand logo and pop that into each one of your thumbnail images. Tip number 7 is get the colors right. So when it comes to putting text into your YouTube thumbnail, making sure that you can choose the right colors is key. So for starters, you wouldn't want your text to blend in with a background, nor do you want the background to overpower the text. An overly bright background could strain the eyes and maybe make your text hard to read. Choose contrasting colors to make sure that these elements stay distinct. You should be going for complementary colors for the best results. And to do this, well, you can easily look up color wheels online and find the best color scheme for your thumbnails. Tip number 8 is say no to clickbait. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky though, because you need a title and image to pull the viewers in, right? But what you don't want to do is lie to them about the content of the video they're about to watch. Being able to trust the content creator is a big key to a successful following on YouTube. Yes, you can spice up the thumbnail a little to get more attention, but you should avoid clickbaiting your potential viewers. Not only will the viewers not be happy, but YouTube will start to show your stuff less and less on the search results because of that. Tip number 9 is show some spoilers. Viewers like to know what they're getting into. So if you have a video that is a before and after style process, include both of those sides in the thumbnail. Is it a cooking video? Well, show off your result of the fabulous dish. Give them at least a hint of what they can expect by the end of the video. And last, tip number 10, try new things. So if you aren't sure yet what your YouTube thumbnail style should be, don't be afraid to test out some different styles until you land on the one that works best for your intended audience. Keep an eye on your click-through rate after each change and take note of what is working the best for your channel. Then start getting more consistent with them. There are definitely more tips out there to consider when creating the perfect YouTube thumbnail image, but these are just some of the big ones that we thought you ought to know. Remember, it's a process of trying to find out what works best for your viewers and your channel. So keep playing with the design until you find your winners. Best of luck and happy creating.